What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, guys, as we're here today, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you all may be. It's already pitch dark outside here. I want to go back to Survivor Series weekend, everybody, because it was nice. And yeah, but we're here, guys, to recap week 12 of the fantasy football season and then go and preview and get you ready for week 13 as we set those lineups. We make sure that you get those winning lineups as we try to get you into the playoffs, or if you're eliminated for this year, we're going to try to get you ready for 2024. So I see a lot of comments in the chat. So we will go through those after we get through all of the information, at least the first half. So if you got any questions, you got any of that good stuff, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. But at this time, let's go and let's talk about the headlines, the Monday night games, the injuries, the things I learned, and all of that other stuff that we do here as we preview the week that just happened. So let's talk about these fantasy headlines, guys. And let's not waste any more time. It is going to be, and we will be talking about, guys, how the Broncos have won 5 games in a row. Remember when the Broncos were 1-5 or 0-5, 1-4, whatever they were at the time? And we thought the Broncos were going to be the laughing stock of the NFL. Well, they've won 5 in a row. They're back in the playoff hunt, and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson are making us eat our words. The Panthers, guys, after now being 1-10, they decided to fire Josh McCown. They fired Frank Reich. They fired everybody. Everybody's gone in Carolina. They traded everything for Bryce Young. And now the Panthers are moving on. And as I just said, guys, 2 weeks until the fantasy football playoffs begin. Depending on what type of a league you're in, first round buys, things like that. It all begins in 2 weeks. So there's not many more, and there's not many more chances to get yourself in and into the playoffs. So let's get into it, and let's talk about all these games that went down in week 12. And let's start it off as we always do here with that Monday night football game, guys. We were here last night watching that Monday night football game. It was not the greatest of Monday night games, as you guys know, but I'm happy because my Chicago Bears got the W. I love football this week. Seth Rollins was in Chicago. He brought a little good luck here. And the Bears got the W on Monday Night Football against those Minnesota Purple People Eaters in Minnesota. So the Bears got the win. The Vikings fall to 6-6. I will say this, though. The Bears defense, guys, has been playing really, really good the last few weeks. They had 3 interceptions last week. They had 4 this week against Josh Dobbs. They only allowed 185 yards to Josh Dobbs. Alexander Madison had 52 rushing yards. The top receiver was TJ Hawkinson, but TJ Hawkinson was held to 0 catches in the first half. Justin Fields, he didn't have a phenomenal game, but he got the job done. He had 217 yards passing. He didn't have any touchdowns. But the DJ Moore, Justin Fields effect is in full effect as DJ Moore had 11 receptions for 114 yards, put up 22.4 fantasy points to be exact. Justin Fields added 59 yards rushing. He did fumble the ball twice, so hopefully that you did not start him. He didn't have the greatest of games, but that's what happened with the Vikings and the Bears. The Bears, there is really not much to say. The Bears didn't score a touchdown. They got 4 3-point field goals. They got 4 field goals to win the game. Their defense played great, and it was a 12-10 game. I don't care what anybody's got to say. A win's a win, and I'll take it whenever we can get it. So that was the Monday Night Football game, and, the Vikings and Bears now have a bye this week, so we will talk about the byes a little bit later, but Justin Jefferson has been activated off the IR, and it looks like Justin Jefferson will be ready for week 14, and he'll be ready for the last week of the playoff, or the last week of the regular season in fantasy, and he'll be ready for all the playoffs. So if you survived without Justin Jefferson, it's like getting a full-blown trade in the middle of November, because Justin Jefferson will be back very soon. So now let's get into and let's talk about the injuries. Let's talk about the 3 things I learned and all of that other good stuff. So let's talk about these injuries. There wasn't too many injuries that came out of this past week, but there were still a few. Jonathan Taylor, the big breaking news today, guys. Jonathan Taylor, it looks like he will miss at least 2 weeks with the thumb injury. T. Higgins has a hamstring injury. We'll have to see what happens with that. Remember, as I always say, it is only Tuesday. Go and check. Go see what's up. Miss Nala over here. We got Devon Achane that has a knee injury. He is questionable, but he seems like he could be able to play this week. Kenneth Walker, he plays Thursday night against the Cowboys. And Kenneth Walker is a game-time decision, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. And honestly, going up against the Cowboys, I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, Chris Olave going up against and he is out, and he had left the game this past Sunday after having a 18.4 game point-wise. He left the game with a concussion, and now he is questionable for this upcoming week. So let's go, and we'll have to see what happens. As I say, guys, it is only Tuesday, so let's just keep an eye out on for the injuries, and let's just see what happens because, again, anything can happen. Hopefully people get healthy. Hopefully guys come off the IR, but just have to see what happens, and we'll just have to see what goes down. So those were the injuries that were going down. To Jonathan Taylor is obviously the big one. We'll have to, like I said, keep an eye out and what goes down in and the rest of the week as we head into week 13. Now, let's get into the 3 things that I learned coming out of week 12, going on to week 13. We talked about it in the headlines. The Broncos are for real. The Broncos are a good football team, I guess, because their defense is playing good. They're not the Broncos we thought they were. Russell's not turning the ball around. And I guess I can't even believe we're saying that. Kyren Williams might very well just be a fantasy football championship winner as he comes off of IR after being gone for 4 weeks, puts up 30-plus fantasy points, scores 1+ touchdown rushing, 1+ touchdown passing, has receiving yards, passing touchdown, at one point had more total yards than the Arizona Cardinals had combined. So Kyren Williams might be a fantasy football champion this year. And the last thing I learned, I just said it. The Bears defense might actually be good this year, guys. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up. But the Bears ain't obviously going to go nowhere. But the Bears defense is pretty good. So those are the things that I learned this week. If you have learned anything, let me know in the comments. We're going to go through the disappointments. And then we're going to go through the perfect lineup. And then we're going to get back to the chat. We'll go through all of the chats. And then we'll do what we always do. Then we'll preview week 13 or the following week. So let's get through these disappointments. We had DeAndre Swift. He had 9.4 points. We had DK Metcalf. He only had 6.2 points. George Kittle, 4.9 points. Joe Mixon had 8 points. Austin Eckler only had 9.4 points. The Rams wide receivers, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, got 11 points combined. And Adam Thielen got 1 catch for 2 yards, and that was it. So if you had any 7 of those guys, 8 of those guys, if you want to count both wide receivers as one guy, you did not have yourself a very good week. Hopefully you didn't have multiple of these guys because I'm pretty sure you didn't have yourself a good week. I'm pretty sure somebody probably could have had this team as a team in fantasy. So hopefully you didn't have all these guys because if you did, it's probably not a good week for you. But now that we talked about the disappointments and we went over those real quick, let's talk about the guys that if you started these guys, they were the perfect lineup and they went on and they put on an absolute show here on Sunday and they were part of the perfect lineup for week number 12. And we got Josh Allen going up, taking out, and he had went out and showed out, put up 43.7 points. Kyren Williams, we just mentioned him. He had 38.4 points, depending on what type of a league you're in. Half-point PPR, he got about, like I said, 35. Christian McCaffrey, he had 30.9. Tyreek Hill continues to do what Tyreek Hill does, 25.4. Mike Evans, 25 points. Pat Freiermuth comes off of the IR, continues to show that people should not have given up on him and that he might very well be a tight end 1 the rest of the year. Pat Freiermuth, 21 points. Bijan Robinson, guys, holy crap, Bijan Robinson is being used because Bijan Robinson went out at 27.3 points. He had 2+ touchdowns. He had a bunch of receiving yards. He had himself a day. And it was a good day if you were a Bijan Robinson over and owner. And on Friday, guys, Black Friday, before Friday Night SmackDown, before we went to Friday night, we saw the Miami Dolphins put out an absolute clinic as they intercepted a Hail Mary. They ran it back. They had a couple sacks. They made Zach Wilson look like a kid. And the Dolphins just went out there and put on a show. So if you're the Dolphins defense, they got 26 points, 30 points in other leagues. And you're probably having yourself, and you're probably feeling really good. And you're like, heck yeah, I'm the best guy in fantasy football. Fantasy football. I like fantasy football. That's kind of fun. Well, anyway, that is the perfect lineup for week number 12. And if you had this perfect lineup, you scored over 237.7 points. So now that we went through all of that, let's get through and let's get to the chat. Let's see what's going down. Benched. Nina. Oh, Nino. I will say this, though. I'm sure you're not the only one, because what has he really done all season long to prove that he could really be that good of a guy? So I get it. It's okay. We've all made those mistakes, man. It's all we're in this together, though. But we got Jadis in the house. What's up, Jadis? We have last season injured JT will be out for 3 to 4 weeks. It said 2 weeks from what I just saw, but it could be longer. Justin Jefferson, yes, he has been activated. Frank Wright got fired. Yes, he did. The organization, they also fired, as I said, Josh McCown. They fired a couple other guys, etc., etc. Texans lost, but CJ Stroud is still him. He's putting up those numbers to win MVP, but I doubt it's going to be the guy that's were on top last year. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Josh Allen. Josh Allen is not going to be in the MVP race if he continues to keep throwing interceptions as he is. Is the Bills' offense back with a new offensive coordinator? I mean, Josh Allen didn't have a bad game. So, I mean, again, it seems like, and I will say this, if you're a Carolina Panther owner of any kind, you start all your Panthers this week, because every time a team fires somebody, the team always goes out there and has themselves a great game. Now, I haven't heard any in the injuries, but there are some. There are some. Josh Stott, yeah, we thought, but the Bears defense went out and showed out. When will we hear about the Shaquille Leonard? I don't know. I was into the WWE thing on Saturday. I forgot about the Thanksgiving games. I forgot about the Sunday games because I was watching the rival. He said I forgot. Bro, everybody, I'm sure you're not the only one. I'm sure you're not the only one, Jadis. I'm sure. We got only 2 likes, guys. If you have not yet, make sure you hit that like button, guys. Is the Broncos the Broncos, I don't think they're going to make like a big giant run, but I do think that they're going to be playing a lot better than what everybody expected them to and how they're doing now exactly. Okay. What was the most boring game? Okay, the most boring game was the blowout game. And that was, what game was that? I forgot already. Oh, the Dolphins and Jets. The most interesting game was the Bills and Eagles. That might have been the most mind-blowing game also. Caleb Williams, I should say. I really don't know if they're going to give up Kyler Murray, but reasons almost. We'll have to see. Kyler Murray not doing too bad. I hope that there's no injuries. Please, blah, blah, blah. Lane Johnson was out. Jadis, how many messages did you leave, bro? You think you just leave the most messages, you're going to get MVP? That's not how it works. It was like that. The Eagles beat the 49ers. I won't be shocked. I mean, it should be a really good game. And remember, guys, go and vote on what game you want to watch. And I think right now that's the game that's actually winning. So we'll have to see. He said, well, Jadis, when you spam the chat, bro, people probably don't want to come in here, bro. Is Tino alive? And then it clicked. No, I did not. I was letting Nala and Elvis out. Same, it's pitch dark. Yes, it is. Cannot believe it is week 13 already. I think it just took a little bit longer than people were expecting it to be with the Broncos. You know, it just took a little bit longer. The Fudge Packers and the Purple People Eaters. What's your name for the Lions? What's my name for the Lions? You hate the Packers and Vikings. You have a name for them, which is kind of funny. For the Lions, oh, the kitty cats. Instead of the Lions, the little kitty cats. But I don't hate the Lions as much as I hate the Packers and the Vikings. Yo, what's up, Jadis? We got Nina in the house. We got Chris in the house. What's up, Chris? Would you also rather have Kirk or Kupp for the rest of the season? I would honestly probably rather have Cooper Kupp still. I know Cooper Kupp hasn't had a bad few games, but Cooper Kupp could just go out there and ball out at any time. Denver Bronco, that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement. If they do, I mean, hey now. I take the Denver Broncos defense against the Houston Texans. Really now. CJ Stroud broke yet another record on Sunday. He's breaking records every week. If the Texans could have gotten just one more yard. He said, I'm dead. Tino, I see that, Jadis. Says I got a lot to say. The kitty cats. Yeah, the kitty cats. Jadis, you got a lot to say. I appreciate it, though. Thank you for leaving all your great comments, Jadis. There's just some of them, bro. We'll be here all day if we read them all. So, Jadis, thank you for leaving all your comments. But now, guys, that we went through all of the chat, we did all of that good stuff. Now, if you got any more questions, let me know. Fantasy football questions, let me know. Start, sit them, drop, trade if you're still trading. If you can still trade in some leagues, let me know. But now let's get into and let's talk about and let's start previewing week 13 and let's get you ready for all the teams that are on a bye, bold predictions, waiver wires, stardom and sit-ems, and all of that good stuff. So let's start it off, guys, with the teams that are on a bye this week, because we do have teams on a bye and there are some big teams. As I mentioned a little bit earlier today, we do have the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears on a bye. So you will be missing if you are starting Khalil Herbert, Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Bears defense for whatever reason. Minnesota Vikings, we got TJ Hawkinson, we got Alexander Madison, we got Jordan Addison, we got Joshua Dobbs. There's a lot of guys out there. And then we also have the Baltimore Ravens. We got Lamar, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely, Gus the Boss, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. We got the Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Kincaid, James Cook, all of these guys. We got the Raiders. We got Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. We got the Raiders defense. There's a lot of guys. And then lastly, we got the Giants. We got Saquon Barkley. So there's a lot of guys that are on a bye this week. But I think this is the last week for buys. I think. Oh, no. Next week, we got 2 teams on a bye. And then next week is the last week with teams on bye. So, this is the last bye-mageddon, guys. But we will be able to get through it, I promise. So, if you have any of those guys, you're going to have to take them out of your lineup. But it's okay because stick around, as I got a bunch of guys that I think you could start for the guys that are out and guys you can sit over the guys that I think are not going to have bad matchups and everything else. So before we get to all of that, though, let's get to the bold predictions and the waiver wire pickups for week number 13. And let's start off with those bold predictions because, as you guys know, I love my bold predictions. And last week, my bold predictions was the Commanders shocked the Cowboys. Okay, that did not happen. Tua Tagovailoa would throw 5 interceptions. He threw 2 interceptions. Kareem Hunt would run for 200 yards. That did not happen. So we didn't do that great last week. But this week, I got some bold ones, guys. As I'm going to say, the Carolina Panthers, after firing everybody, they're going to go out there and they're going to shock the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joshua Gibbs, I'm going to say he rushes for 3 to 5 touchdowns. Joshua Gibbs going to go out there and ball out. We also have Zach Wilson, guys. He hasn't had a very good day, but it would be such a move for him to go out there as everybody is starting to not believe in the Jets again, for him to go out there and throw up 4 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons defense at home in New York at MetLife Stadium. So Zach Wilson, he's going to be throwing 4 touchdowns on Sunday. Guarantee it. Now it's a bold prediction. So those are my bold predictions for week number 13. Now, let's get into the guys that I need you to go and pick up off your waiver wire this week for you to start and you to feel good about. At number 5, we got a tight end. It is from the New Orleans Saints. It is Jawoon Johnson. They are facing the Detroit Lions. Chris Olave has a concussion. Derek Carr is somebody that I think you can stream this week. And Jawoon Johnson is a good guy. We always need those tight ends. Odell Beckham, he's on a bye week this week. But it's always good to always get these guys when they're on bye weeks, if you can, because then people might not want them because they don't want to use them, but then maybe you could take advantage of that if you have an open spot. Curtis Samuel, I don't know if Curtis Samuel's available in any leagues, but Curtis Samuel has had back-to-back really good weeks, and I think we can maybe now trust Curtis Samuel. So he's going up against the Dolphins this week. I think we could start him. We could stream him if you have him and if you need a roster spot. Jalen Reed, he was a guy I talked about a little bit ago. I think I talked a little bit about him last week. I talked about him earlier in the season, and he kind of fell off a little bit. But the last few weeks, guys, he's been coming through, getting up, and coming up big. So Jalen Reed against the Chiefs, I think he should, and he should go out there and have a very good day. Pat Freiermuth came back off the IR. And again, I don't know if Pat Freiermuth is available, but if he is available and if you do not have him, I think he is a very good option to go and get at the tight end position with guys like TJ out this week, with injuries, with guys that you don't know who you can trust. The tight end position is literally just picking the guy out of the hat. And Pat Freiermuth honestly, if Pat Freiermuth never got hurt, he probably would still be one of the top tight ends in the NFL, but he got hurt and he's been out for a while. So Pat Freiermuth taking on the Cardinals, I think is a very good move this week. So those are my top 5 pickups for week number 13, and the guys that I think you can go pick up and you can put in your lineup for the guys that I need you to go and get that if they're still on the waiver wire. So before we get to the pick'ems and before I get back to the chat, let's go through the starts, the sits, and the streams for week number 13. And let's start this week, and let's go start from the starts, the sits, and the streams. Let's go with the startums for this week. I'm going to say you can start Baker Mayfield against the Panthers defense. You can start Baker taking on the Panthers this week. I know I said the Buccaneers might get upset, but even if they do, that does mean that Baker Mayfield will have to still throw the ball. And even if they don't, Baker Mayfield, I think, can throw a few touchdowns, especially with quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Joshua Dobbs, Lamar Jackson, guys like that on a bye. Baker Mayfield might not be a bad option. Devin Singletary, hopefully you got Devin Singletary and you didn't wait like I did, and then I didn't end up getting him. And then my cousin gets him, and then my cousin wants to try to trade bait me and, shenanigans. So Devin Singletary taking on the Denver Broncos, the worst rushing defense still. Yes, they've been playing really good defense, but they still do have a bad rushing defense. And C.J. Stroud has been putting up numbers as he's going to try to be the Rookie of the Year. So I don't know how the Broncos are going to do this week, but I do believe that you can start Devin Singletary. Calvin Ridley had himself a very good game last week. I think you could start Calvin Ridley this week. I think Calvin Ridley is a guy that, yes, he's had a few bad weeks. He's had a few weeks that, we really didn't know what to do, and he hasn't been the guy that we were hoping to be. But taking on the Bengals this week on Monday Night Football, I don't think it's a bad option. Pat Freiermuth, I told you to pick him up. You start him this week against the Cardinals. The starting defense for the week is the Los Angeles Chargers for me, taking on the New England Patriots. The Chargers, Patriots, I think the Chargers should have a decent day, and hopefully they score decent fantasy points. Now let's get to the sits this week. The sits that I'm going to tell you guys you need to take out of your lineup is Geno Smith taking on the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. We will be live here Thursday Night Football for them boys, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. But Geno Smith, I don't think he should be in your fantasy football lineup. We have DeAndre Swift. taking on the 49ers, and the 49ers defense is really, really good. We all know how good they are. So, DeAndre Swift, I'm not telling you to sit him necessarily if you don't have any other options. But if you do have other options, I think you can. But just beware that he might not have a very good game. The Falcons taking on the Jets defense. That Jets defense, the Jets offense may suck, but that Jets defense is really good. So sit your Falcons wide receivers this week. I say it every single week, guys. I cannot tell you to sit a tight end, no matter how much it may hurt to see a guy, because tight ends are one of those positions where you literally have to just hope for the best and hope the guy that you have does it really good. So there's no defenses or no tight ends you can sit this week. The defense for the week that I think you can sit is the Eagles, because I think the 49ers should have a good game. I think the Eagles and 49ers should be high scoring, and I'm hoping that the game is a very good game, but I don't know how many points there will be scored exactly, but I do believe that it's either going to be high scoring and defenses are going to suck, or it's going to be very defense and the defenses are going to score. So if you do have better options at defenses, I think you can go and sit the Eagles. But if you don't and you're forced to, I get it. But defenses are sometimes really easy to come by. Just look for quarterbacks to turn the ball over. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I've been looking at. So now let's look at the Carolina Panthers taking on the Tennessee Titans. I think not Carolina taking on Tennessee. I'm going to tell you, and let's get to the streams of the week. And I'm going to tell you, you can stream Derek Carr versus the Tennessee Titans. I forgot to put another R in my spreadsheet. So it says Carr against Tennessee, as I thought it was Carolina against Tennessee. But it's Derek Carr taking on Tennessee. So stream Derek Carr this week. We have Antonio Gibson taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins taking on the Commanders. Dolphins, they might give up some points. They might not. But Antonio Gibson, with as many teams are on a bye this week and as many running backs are out, I think you can stream him this week. Jalen Reed, I told you to pick him up. You stream him this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyler Conklin from the Jets. Zach Wilson needs somebody to throw the ball to, and this might be a Zach Wilson game at home against the Falcons, and we'll have to see what happens. But you need a tight end. As I always say, guys, tight ends, and I just said it, it's like pulling some guy out of a hat and hoping that the guy, like literally pulling a guy out of a hat and hoping that he goes and he gets something. So let's just hope that Tyler Conklin does his thing. Conklin, you guys know what I mean. Anyway, the streaming defense of the week that I have is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers. I don't know what's going on in Carolina. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Adam Thielen. I don't know what's going on with Bryce Young. But nobody in Carolina seems to want to do anything. So if you need a defense to stream this week, the Buccaneers may be a very good option this week, taking on a very depleted and just not knowing what to do Carolina's offense. But then again, as I said, this might be the week that Carolina breaks out, because they just fired everybody. And it seems every time a team fires somebody, they just go out there and they have themselves a great game. So I'm going to tell you to stream the Buccaneers, but don't be dumb and don't be like, oh, I'm going to stream the Buccaneers over somebody that's facing So just don't let's be smart about it, guys. So before we get into the pick'ems of the week and we go over what we did last week, how we did last week, before we go over the games for this week, and we take a look at the playoff picture, let's go and let's take a look back at the chat. Let's see how we're doing. See if we got any more questions and everything else like that. The kitty cats. The Josh Giddey. Who's that? Josh Giddey. I don't know who that is. The Denver Broncos are playing good since they gave up 70 points to the Dolphins. I guess it will do that to you, right? As much as I hate the Cowboys, don't wish injuries, but Trevon Diggs getting injured in Jadis. Don't be wishing injuries. Oh, here we go. I'm not answering punk questions because everybody's not happy again. Literally, you guys were all happy for 24 hours and then everybody's all unhappy again. They ain't going to give it all the way in one night. Come on, guys. Was at the bar with her and she under what? I don't understand. Where these conversations these make no sense. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. This isn't fantasy football, that's for sure. But anyway, let's get into and let's now go over last week's games. Let's go over this week's games. And then let's go over and let's talk about and let's see what we got going down. But first, let's go through these playoff pictures, guys. As if the playoffs were to end today, this is what the playoff picture would be and what it would look like. So let's take a look at it and let's do that. Okay, I was like, where did it go? So we have the division leaders. We have the Ravens. We have the Chiefs. We have the Jaguars. And we have the ones and the onlys, the Dolphins. We also have the Steelers taking on the Steelers, the Browns, and the Colts in the wild card as of this moment and as if the season were to end today. And then in the hunt, we got the Texans, we got the Broncos, we got the Bills, we got the Bengals, we got the Ravens, or not the Ravens, I'm sorry. We got the Chargers, the Titans, and the Jets. Yes, guys, the Jets are still alive as of this moment. So we will have to wait and see what happens, but the Jets are alive right now. So that's what the AFC looks like. Let's take a look at the NFC. We got the Eagles. We got the 49ers. We got the Lions and the Falcons as the division leaders. And then we got the Cowboys, we got the Seahawks, and we got the Vikings as our division and as our wild card, I should say. And then we have in the hunt, we have the Green Bay Packers, the Rams, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Giants. I don't know why they're putting the Bears and the Commanders. So apparently the Bears are back in the hunt. Now I guess because they did beat the Vikings, but they still got to have a lot happen. I mean, anything is possible, but let's not get our hopes up here. So that is what the playoffs look like as of now. So before we preview and before we go through and the games for this week, let's take a look at the games that went on last week and let's see how well we did. We got the Vikings right. We got the Lions wrong. So 1-1. We got the Ravens. We got the Chiefs. I took the Bills. 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. I took the Bengals. 3-4, 4-4. Took the Titans. 5-4. Took the Colts. 5-5. Took the Patriots. 5-6 took the Texans. 6-6 took the Dolphins. 7-6 took the 49ers. And 8-6 I took the Cowboys. So we went 8-6 last week, guys. So that's what we did for last week. But now let's take a look at what we're going to do this week. And let's see the games that will be going down. And let's see what games we get right. And let's see what games we get wrong. So this week's games, guys, we got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We will be here live on Thursday. So make sure you come and hang out on Thursday as we watch that game. But I'm going to say the Cowboys win. We got the Texans, or I should say we have the Titans and the Colts. Let's go the Colts to win that. We got the Chargers and the Patriots. Let's go Chargers. We got the Lions and the Saints. Let's go Lions. We got the Falcons and the Jets. Let's go Jets with that one. We got the Steelers and the Cardinals. Let's go Steelers. We got the Dolphins and the Commanders. Let's go Dolphins. We got the Texans and the Broncos. Let's go Texans. We got the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Let's go Buccaneers. We got the Browns and the Rams. Let's go Browns. We got the 49ers and the Eagles. Let's go Niners. And then we got the Green Bay Fudge Packers on Monday night or on Sunday Night Football taking on the Chiefs. And it is the Chiefs and the Packers. Let's go Chiefs. And then you cannot see the Monday Night Football game for some reason. And that Monday Night Football game is the Bengals and the Jaguars. Let's take the Jaguars. So those are my predictions for this upcoming week of the NFL football season. So, yes, I did do horrible on my picks. I did. Tino, be happy. I know, right? Let's be happy. The Bears are in the hunt. Woohoo! Anyway, guys, that is all I have here for you today for the fantasy football recap and the fantasy football preview show. So we're going to go through the chat, and then we're going to say goodbye until tomorrow afternoon. So let's go through the chat. What was at the bar? Let's see, Denver Broncos will win their 6th straight. He said that's a bold prediction. I like it, Chris. Yes, I'm very happy. I did do horrible. I'm sorry. Let's go Broncos. Saints, Colts, Chargers, Lions, Falcons, Steelers, Dolphins, Buccaneers, 49ers, Chiefs, and Jaguars. You're not even taking your own team, Tro? Tro? I definitely thought you'd take the Eagles for sure. So, guys, that is all, though, that I have here for you today for the fantasy football show for week number 12, week number 13. We will be back here live for a football game this Sunday, guys. We will also be here this Thursday night for Thursday night football, as it is the Seahawks and the Cowboys. We will also be here for a Sunday game. The vote is continuing. We will announce that game one day this upcoming week. Or this week, I should say. One day this week, I should say, not upcoming week. This week, we will announce the game. So we will be back here for one game this week, so it won't be too bad. We will also have a Madden live stream on Saturday. I haven't come up with a challenge yet. So if somebody wants to come up with a challenge, let me know, and we can do it. So we will have a Madden live stream. We'll be back here for all new, and we'll be here for a full week, as we will be back here tomorrow afternoon, guys. As it is the road to Extreme Rules. It's WWE 2K23 My GM mode, as it is episode number 4. Tino's leading his brand to Extreme Rules, as we can try to continue to be the best GM in WWE 2K23. So come and hang out tomorrow as we play some video games. We have ourselves a good day, and we do our thing. The vlog is in and is continuing to be in the works. We just finished the SmackDown portion of it, so we're now starting the Survivor Series portion of it. So I cannot wait for you guys to see all of that. I should have it, if everything stays on track, I should have it ready by next Monday. So hopefully we have it ready and I can show you guys sooner rather than later. So keep an eye out for the vlog. Keep out for some clips I'm going to be sharing from the event. I'm still buzzing from it, guys. I don't know. The adrenaline that I have is crazy. So, guys, week 13 of the fantasy football season is here. Nala and Elvis are ready for it, as you guys can hear. So, I'm going to say goodbye for this episode. But before I go, we got to give the MVP of the channel. And the MVP he's going to be a 2-time MVP. It is our guy, Chris, coming through, hanging out, asking some good questions, hanging out. I appreciate you, Chris. Chris, you are now a 2-time MVP. So make sure you come back tomorrow. And for the GM mode episode, try to defend your title against Jadis. Okay, the MVP. He said the MVP. So I like the MVP as kind of a thing you guys look forward to now. So I like it. But MVP tonight is Chris. So MVPs and everybody, guys, go and make sure that, as I always tell you guys, make sure you go hit that like button. Make sure you become a member of the channel. You leave a super chat or two. You go and get yourself some merchandise on Tino's Time, bonfire.com/Tino's Time. The link is in the description below. Go get it. Holidays coming up. There's a Black Friday deal still going down that will be going down until Christmas. So make sure you go and get yourself some merchandise. We got 5% off. We got 10% off. So make sure you go and get yourself some merchandise. Support your boy Tino and support the Tino's Time and the Southside Boys everywhere you go. But if you can't do any of that, I understand. But if you can, make sure you hit the like button on this episode. you go and follow all the social medias on the ticker below so you know when we post shorts, videos, clips, and everything else. So make sure you guys go and do that. Make sure that you guys also turn that notification button on. Go and subscribe, as we are only 27 subscribers away to 1,400. So hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Join the nation that is Tino's Nation, and let's get to 1,500 by the end of 2023. So that's the goal, guys. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Join the nation that is Tino's Nation. And lastly, guys, turn that notification button on so you know when new episodes, shorts, videos, and everything comes out. But also turn that notification button on too so you know when we go live next, which will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Guys, have a great rest of your Tuesday night. Enjoy NXT. We are officially on the road to Deadline. We will be here live next week for Deadline, for a Deadline preview show and everything else like that. Jadis, I know you weren't spamming, but Chris came in here and defended his title. We got Ron in the house, so thank you, Ron, for stopping by. But, guys, that's all I have here for you. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, guys, and I will see you all here back on Tino's Time tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for episode number 4, as we are on the road to Extreme Rules, as it's WCW versus NXT.